that you have your budget, you have some money, you see what money's coming in, what's going out, where are you going to keep your money? So we're going to talk a little bit about banking, starting with, what are some of the benefits of banking? Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits of using banks. The first being that it's more secure, right? Instead of storing your money somewhere that someone could have access to, putting it in a bank makes sure that it's safe and it's also insured. So, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation actually protects your money up to $250,000 when it's in your bank account. It's also more organized. You can see all the money you're putting in, all the money that's coming out, which makes your life a little bit easier and also is helpful for you in tracking. Some other awesome parts of a bank is that you can do bill pay directly from your bank account. You can set it up so for your utilities or any other payments that it goes straight to your bank. A lot of employers will require that you do direct deposit for your job. So it helps you get your money a little bit faster and it puts it all in one place for you. And lastly, banks have more than just bank accounts. So they might have other services to help you manage your money, like places that you can check your credit score, which we'll talk about in another training. Or they might have notifications for you whenever something comes out or is deposited into your account. They have credit cards, lots of loans, lots of different options that the bank might provide you. And the bank account might just be your first step in building that relationship with your bank. So let's talk about the two main bank accounts that you've likely maybe heard about already or that you'll see when you go to the bank. The first is a checking account. So a checking account is the account you use for everyday life. So with your checking account, this is where you'll likely be putting money into your bank or taking money out more frequently. This is where you'll likely pay your bills out of, or your employer will send your pay to this account. You'll also usually get a debit card for this account so that you can use the card to make purchases at stores and things like that. While your savings account is really for the future. So putting money aside for some of those longer term goals that you're looking towards. These accounts generally have interest, meaning you'd earn a little bit of extra money. If you're not okay with interest, you're not comfortable with interest for any reason, you could technically make another account that doesn't have interest to put that money aside. Or we've heard some people do different methods, like take that interest and donate it, or not touch that interest. So whatever you're most comfortable with, but understanding that the savings account is really for those future goals. So when you get your account, you'll usually get an account number and a routing number. I'll pause there. So your account number is unique to your bank account. So it is a number that's specifically for you. You want to make sure you're keeping that account number private. So don't, share it with anybody. Don't write it on little scraps of paper around your house. It's something that you should really only know. The routing number refers to the bank, usually the bank where you opened your account under. And so, for example, like any Capital One bank in Atlanta, Georgia, will have the same routing number. So that one, it's not a big deal if people know the routing number of the account, because several banks probably have the same number. So your account number and routing number, you can find that usually when you sign up for your bank account, they'll give that to you. But you can also find on checks, on your bank statements, and on your online banking profile, they'll have all of that information listed for you. So as we mentioned, when you get your checking account, you'll get a debit card associated with your account. So you can use the money that you have in your account. So again, any purchase you make on your debit card, it's coming straight out of your checking account. So on your debit card, there's a few pieces of information, but the main things to remember is your card number on the front that's unique to you. You have on the front also your expiration date and the security code on the back. So usually when you're making a purchase using your card, they're going to want that information. And so you want to make sure you're keeping that information private and you're not sharing your card number out with everyone, or they can spend the money. And the bank contact information is also on the back of your card. So if there's any problems with using your debit card, or I like to write that down also, so that in case you lose your card and you can't find it and you want to request a new one, you can call that information that's on the back of the card. So depositing money or putting money into your bank account is pretty easy. You can either go to the bank and bring your money with your debit card and go straight up to someone or a teller or someone that works there. You can use an ATM to deposit money. You can do direct deposit, which means sending money basically from bank account to bank account, or like your employer might send money directly to your bank account. And then if you do online banking, you can even sometimes take a picture of a check and deposit it that way. So maybe equally as easy is withdrawing money or taking money out of your account. And so you can do that a few ways. Sometimes there's a slip at your bank, a piece of paper that you fill out to take money out, where you'll need your account number. You can also go up to the teller with your card and say, I want to take money out, using your debit card. Just using your debit card at a store is technically taking money out of your bank. You can also go to the ATM, pay your bills directly from the bank account, or you can use a check. So just wanted to show you a check really quickly. So like we said, a check is one way to take money out of your account. And basically it depends on the preference of the person you're giving money to, right? So for example, I know for my landlord, he prefers to get a check. It's easiest for him to process the payment. So this is just the different parts of a check. So most times you'll get a few checks when you open your bank account. For example, I know some banks only give 2 or 3 to start. If you want more, you will have to pay and purchase more checks. And just some important things to point out about a check. It includes, you're going to list who you're paying. It has your name, your account information, but you're going to put down who the money is going to. You're going to write out the amounts. And then looking at that memo line, you're going to write what the check's for, and you have to sign. So if you don't sign, the check won't go through. And because it's a piece of paper that you're giving to somebody, it's always good to record when you're giving someone a check, and write down like that check number. So in case there's some misunderstanding, you can have some written record that you did submit your payment to them. And then we talked a little bit about an ATM, and you all have probably seen ATMs at the bank or around your neighborhood. And so just the most important things to remember about an ATM is this is a way that you can access your money. A lot of these ATMs are open past bank hours. So if you need to take money out or deposit, usually you can access the one at your bank at any time. You'll need your debit card. You'll usually need a PIN number, 4 numbers that are unique to you. And here you can deposit or withdraw money. And to note that it's free at your bank, but if you're going to another bank or going to like an ATM you see in a store, it might not be free. So if you can get to your bank, that's the preference. If not, usually it can be from like $2.50 to $5 per transaction. And then lastly to think about is that there are daily limits. So you can't take out $2,000 at a time from your ATM. Usually each bank will set a limit how much money you can take out. So you want to plan for that in case you need to take out a larger amount of money. So going back to those bank accounts. So there are a few features of a bank account that will help you choose which account is good for you. So there are many banks out there. You've probably seen lots of different banks. And so you want to think about some of these different features before you choose a bank account for yourself. So the first thing is a monthly fee, right? Banks are technically businesses, so and for some accounts, they will charge you a fee just to have your bank account. Um, so some accounts allow you to waive this fee or get rid of the fee if you have a minimum balance in there, if you have a certain amount of money in there at all times, or if you do a certain amount of direct deposits a month. So if you're starting to work and your employer does direct deposit, likely you could get a bank account that doesn't have a fee. The minimum deposit is the amount that you need to put in your bank account to open it. So some accounts require that you put money, that you have money with you when you go to the bank to open the account. We then have overdraft fees. So an overdraft fee is if you go below zero in your bank account, you use more money than you actually have in your account. Some banks will charge a flat fee. I know some banks charge like $35 every time you go below zero. The good thing is that for most banks, you could select where they don't even let you go below zero, or some banks have gotten rid of these fees altogether. We already reviewed some ATM fees as well, but some other features to think about for bank accounts might be online bill pay, check deposit over your phone, and online banking. So just briefly, briefly for online banking, most banks have this option where you can do financial transactions and see your bank account online, either on a computer or your phone. If you have questions on this, you just, our main tips are, if you don't feel comfortable using online banking, then you don't have to. But it is a way to easily access your account information without having to go to the bank in person. So we talked about different bank accounts, right? And the different features they might have. So we're not going to go through each bank account. This is only 3 examples, but just to note that before you decide on one, you're going to want to think through these different features, right? The fee, the deposit, but also thinking through, is it close to your home, right? Things that would be convenient for you. That's what's most important for you and for your bank account, is making sure that it fits your needs in your life. And so, again, you could, we can send you, if you want, some different bank account information. You can go to a local bank and just talk to a few of them to get more information, whatever works for you to make that decision. So now to open your bank account, right? You've done your research, you've learned a little bit about all the features of a bank account, and now you might be at the point where you want to decide on which one. So first thing, pick a bank, right? It could be a larger bank that you see you've seen all over, like TD, Chase, Capital One, or it could be a local credit union. Credit unions also have really great products and accounts for you, and so you'll want to do a little research before you go in. And then once you've decided on your bank and you've done some research on accounts, you can make an appointment either online or in person to open your account. Many banks do have interpretation available. So if you do feel like you need that service, you can always ask. It's not always guaranteed, but you can always request, and they might be able to accommodate if you give a little bit more notice. And then when you go to your appointment, you're going to bring, first of all this knowledge that right now you're going to walk into that bank like a banking expert. And then you want to bring either some money to deposit if the account requires you to put some money in there, and the documents, your identification documents. So most banks require at least one government picture ID and a social security card. Some banks will also ask for a proof of address. So that could be maybe if you have a state ID, it could be on there, or it could be on a piece of mail, a bill, your pay stub, your lease, whatever you have that lists your name and address could serve for proof of address. And if you don't have a social security card or a social security number, which I know that Some people have had that barrier in the past. There are some credit unions that don't always request the social security number. Chase has recently announced a bank account for people that don't have the social security number. They'll take other documents in exchange. And so, if you need support in finding a good banking option for you, you can always contact one of our financial coaches, and they'll be happy to assist you. So just to summarize, today we learned a lot about budgeting, the importance of understanding the money you make and the money you spend and making a plan. And we also learned about banking, different bank accounts, and how to open your own bank account and choose one. So we hope that after this training, you can go home and feel ready to take some of these steps and share this information with your friends and family.